Hello, everybody. It's a beautiful day. I'm coming at you live from my favorite tree. Love this tree. And the tree and me have some things to share with you today about if you don't like celebrity gossip, click away. If you're too good for this and this conversation is beneath you, then and I don't care about that shit, or we have to stop focusing on those people, they're false idols. Okay, good. Move along. This is not for you. This is my personal story with these assholes. And whether it would be people who are bullying you at your workplace or at school or on the internet, this is my experience with the Kardashians, okay? So, where do I start? Start at the beginning. 2018, my book had been out a few years. Khloe Kardashian had shared it or written truth on it or retweeted it or however that goes. And I was like, okay, that's cool, whatever. And I had a lot of other high-level, high-visible people, I should say, who were endorsing it and sharing it, like Elizabeth Gilbert, who was, a literary giant in my mind. And I'm going to try to get through this without sobbing. But no guarantees. There are so many people involved in this. I could start with them and go from there, but I know a lot of it did start there. So, it's jumbled because there was a lot of trauma involved and a lot of infliction of unnecessary pain and cruelty and gang stalking and gaslighting and a lot of bullshit. Okay, so there's that. So my little history with them was Khloe retweeted Dear Human. So it starts there. And then I went to lunch with a friend one day that year. And I've told this to some people, and some people don't know, but I'm just going to tell the story as I can recall it. I'm sure it's puzzle pieces and bits that, I'm sure there's stuff I won't, chronologically get right or things I'll miss, but I want to get it out there. So, a friend said, you should follow John Mayer. He's funny and cute, and he's quirky like you, and he's looking like you are, and, for a partner. And so go check out his page and just see what you think. And so I did, and we'd gone for Thai food, and I got home. I checked him out, and I was like, yeah, he is kind of cute and kind of quirky and kind of funny. And I remembered he'd had all the womanizer bullshit and the Rolling Stone article and all that stuff, and he had a reputation of sorts. And I was like, okay, we all have a history, we all have a past, so I'm not going to date the guy. I'm just going to have some fun and enjoy him, and we're both singles out there looking for love. So that was the common ground that started it. Plus I did like his music. I love the song Say. It's always going to be one of my favorite songs no matter what. And so then kind of that happens for a month or two, and then he wrote a post, something about, I was mentioned on the Kardashians, and you haven't really lived, or you don't really exist until you're mentioned by the Kardashians. So I wrote under that post, oh yeah, hey, me too. I was mentioned by Khloe, and this is this piece I wrote, and here's the book version of it, whatever. I might have put some info there or whatever. So then it was kind of off and running, and I do believe the Kardashians also saw that post, and I do believe John saw that post. And then about a month or two or something like that after that post, where I went directly to his page and put my comment under his post about the Kardashians, then it started getting weird, you guys. It started getting weird. I felt like creeped out and like I was under surveillance, and all kinds of shit was happening. I couldn't prove it, obviously. I don't have the money these people have, right? I don't have the visibility, the platform, the microphone that they have, that they use for, say, Sirius XM, Andy, Radio Andy, all friends of John Mayer, who, I was kind of looking into to see what they were about. Bob Saget, friend of John Mayer. No opinions on any of these people, never going to meet them, had my deep dives with a lot of them, trying to heal and move on with my life, because it has derailed my life, and it has made my life harder, not better, to be, and even on the periphery of these people's orbit, okay? But telling my story, even in this way, is cathartic for me while I've been seeing the trials and stuff play out, and there's more to come, I'm sure. And so I'm glad they're being exposed, and part of me is glad it's not really totally me, because, you know, however many people will see this, however many people will believe me or care, but I want this out there for me. And wherever it goes from there, if it dies right here, that's fine too. But I want this out there for me. So one of the things that happened was then John wrote a song called New Light. And that was interesting. And then he was sort of flirting with Jen Aniston again for a while, and Katy Perry again, and Halsey, and some chick named Simi. And I remember inboxing and DMing Courtney. No, not Courtney. Courtney is the other one. Chloe, asking, oh, is John sleeping with Simi? And this was this chick who is part of Simi and Hayes. Why am I naming names? Why am I going backwards? Why am I obsessively looping on this? Because it all leads to where I am now, talking to you in this tree. These are the puzzle pieces I can recall, because it was a very traumatic and stressful and weird time. And the aftermath and the after effects are not pleasant. So I'm just sharing these things and see if anyone can relate, or if you think I'm crazy, that's fine too, because everybody puts me as crazy in songs and poems and lyrics, and that's what came out of a lot of this, and just became a runaway train, and kind of steamrolled and flattened me in the process. Because what, you know, the carrot and stick of, oh, we're going to bring you to the party, you're going to be in our club, you're going to be a cool kid like us, and then I started realizing after a while, maybe I don't want to. Maybe I'm better off hanging out in trees and talking to you people and letting them have their world with their Birkin bags and their bullshit, you know? So I had developed some feelings for Mr. Mayor, and he knew that, and he played with it, and it was a game for him and all of his friends. And at one point he was kind of flirting with Kourtney Kardashian with a K, and she went on Ellen's show. This is when they all knew I had some, you know, crushy kind of flirty feelings for him. So Court goes on Ellen's show, and they have a would you rather section. Who would you rather be with? And one of them was John Mayer, and then John Mayer flirted back with Kourtney with a K, not this Kourtney. And then there were other things that went on and transpired, and I just was like, the more I got to know these people, and I mean know them through their sideways bullshit, the more I was turned off, and the more I was like wanting to just run in the other direction, because I realized early on they were mean girls, they were bullies, they were playing mind games and heart games, and he was in the mix, and it was hard to tell, like, you know, I know he's shady and shitty too sometimes, but I also had this hope that maybe someday he wouldn't be like an idiot, you know. And maybe he hasn't, you know, grown, and maybe he's evolved, or maybe he's regressed and evolved and healed, and maybe he's gonna, you know, hopefully stop doing this to women that try to get close to him, because I know that I don't want to experience that in my life ever again, with someone being cruel about, you know, feelings and holding back, and then love bombing, and a lot of that was probably in my head. I can be honest about that, and a lot of it wasn't. So there's a clusterfuck mix of crazy there. Again, there's that word, crazy. But it got really ugly, really weird. At one point I said, oh, I don't even like the color orange anymore. One of my first sentences was, give me the orange. So then in his story, like a day or two later, John, in his Instagram story, put up a whole bunch of oranges. And then the day after that, and I'd also said that Trump had ruined the color orange for me. So those of you who are Trump fans, just take it as a joke. It's not a big deal. I'm not Team Trump. I'm not Team Biden. I'm not Team any of them. The Illuminati installed them all. So no elections matter or are real, could be stolen, because they're handpicked and placed in that seat. And if you don't believe me, go do some more research. But anyway. So then it got weirder and weirder and weirder with every passing month and every passing year. And I felt haunted. I felt stalked, I felt mocked. So after I said the orange thing, the next day, who has orange in all their stories but the Kardashians? And then the next week, who's on Oprah but Lady Gaga wearing orange? So this is how it went. I would mention something and it would sort of become this ripple joke that they would all reflect back at me, because clearly they hated me. Clearly, that's what that was nothing but contempt and hatred, to treat another human being like that and to abuse your power, your privilege, your microphone, your money, your platform, your fucking guitar, There's no love in that. There's no care. There's no kindness or affection or actual respect or, yeah. So then it got worse and worse and worse. And John was doing his show called Current Mood. And there was one younger woman after another. And I was like, well, I am clearly not his type because I am not a Kardashian and I am not a 26-year-old. So I kind of just started giving up on it and leaving it behind and not sinking to the level and playing the mind games like they all did. Immaturity, cruelty, awkwardness, insecurity, and again, arrogance to think that that wouldn't ever come out to light or that it wouldn't get caught or that I wouldn't say something, that, you know, that they were going to intimidate and bully me into silence, which worked for a long time until it didn't, and it doesn't anymore work for me. So that's how they do these subs, they do this sideways, winky crap. Sometimes you're in and they like you, and other times they're dissing you. So that's another rabbit down the rabbit hole, carrot and stick bullshit agenda thing they do. And at first I was making a lot of excuses for their tactics, going, oh, well, they don't know any better. They all got famous when they were kids. They were born into this, or teens, and they don't even know how to relate to a real person who's like they're like working on farms, writing books, traveling. I mean, I've had a unique life, but I have worked really fucking hard. I have, since I was 12. And they have had a lot handed to them, okay? So there was this tension, this resentment, this back and forth. Sometimes it was flirtatious, sometimes it was just cruel. And it just felt like I had a kick me sign on my fucking forehead the whole time. So I'm not a fan of these people anymore. At one point I kind of was, and now I'm, disgusted, repulsed, and healing from, the PTSD that they've inflicted. Oprah's at the head of that hydra. In my opinion, as far as I'm concerned, she deploys all these other people as her minions, and they all use the internet, social media, their Instagram stories, they use interviews on the radio, you can't imagine how vast this goes. It's a very deep, dark way of being to use the airwaves to target someone. Whether you're trying to recruit them or vet them or mock them or stalk them or fuck them or whatever the fuck the agenda was, I wasn't playing. I mean, I played along. For some points of it, I was, hoping to get into that party. And now I realize that party is a disaster, a lie, an illusion, and just like the fucking Met Gala, just disgusting. Like disgusting people who do disgusting things. So there were other crushes that wove in and out. There were other, confusing things. And it was like a round robin. And I would say something and then it would become this thing where they'd all kind of mock or copycat it. And it gets old, you guys. It gets old after like 4.5 years of this now. Almost 5 fucking years. So I'm not a litigious person. And again, I don't have the resources and the means to sue them or take them down or, try to deal with it that way. This is more my way, to just say the things and tell the truth and drop the names and say, to whoever is listening or pretending not to, I didn't deserve that. As Johnny Depp is saying about Amber, I didn't deserve that. I deserved better treatment. I still deserve better treatment. And kind of fuck all y'all. And you made a mistake. You made the wrong fucking choice and the wrong fucking investment, in my opinion. But that was your karma. That was your choice. That was your road, your path, your journey. And now I need to move in other directions where people embrace me, are kind, don't need to gaslight or gang stalk or manipulate or control or intimidate or bully or use their fucking platforms. Andy Cohen, Anderson Cooper, Corden, Colbert, these guys are all pals. They're all palsy-walsies, right? And they're own in their fucking boys club treehouse, right? So here I am in my treehouse telling you all, I always knew what you were doing. I never appreciated it. It was scary. It was weird. It was unkind. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't seduction. You were not wingmen. What you really were was flying fucking monkeys. And so I don't know how to go forward from that because I cared about these fucking people even though I didn't know them, and I will never know them or meet them, and they are cowards and they are liars and they are scum. And that is not even in my opinion, that is in my personal fucking experience, okay? So for everyone who's told me, just don't think about them, just look away, just don't care, they're not important, why do you care? Because when you've been targeted and hunted and mocked and stalked and shunned and blacklisted and your work's been stolen and used for profit for these monsters, you kind of you don't know how not to care. You know, you try very hard not to care. You try very hard to focus on other things. You try very hard to shove it away or stuff it down or pretend it isn't real or it isn't happening. You try very fucking hard, and that's another reason they target people who've had challenges in the mind, because you look crazy and they want to discredit you and make you look crazy or slutty or stupid or gold digger or clout chaser, and I was never any of those fucking things, and I'm not those fucking things, so fuck you for that as well. And if the spin in their mind is, oh well, we were just, you know, seeing what you're made of, well, now you know, and I know what you're made of too. And it ain't sugar and spice or anything nice. So I will heal from this. This is one way I do it. By saying the things and calling out the names and the behaviors and the bullshit and the psychological torment tactics they do. Because there are many of them. And there was always only one of me. But I'll tell you what. I'm a smart, kind, loving, take no bullshit one. And I'm worth it. And I'm worth telling my story openly and honestly, and wherever it goes and whatever it does is not my problem or my concern. But this is 4.5 years in the making, this little 17-minute video. So take it or leave it, pass it along. If you do know of anyone who could help me unpack and unweave this further and not just say, well, just don't care, or just shove it aside, or just pretend it isn't happening, or just get on with it and get over it. Yeah, fucking tell me how, okay? And I'm there. But that is dismissive, invalidating, and crazy making too, to just sort of be like, well, why should you care? These people don't matter, don't care. You're obviously more powerful and more important than them if they have to target you like this. That doesn't help. It isn't, you know, helpful or kind or necessary, but being heard and yeah, they mess with your family, they mess with your mind, your heart, your body, your time, your money, your energy. They mess with fucking everything. Can't even go to the grocery store without some fucking song coming on that you know is programming. So I have reclaimed myself a lot. I have an awesome therapist. I have great friends. But some days it's hard. Some days it rains. And today's one of them. So if this hasn't ever happened to you or anything like it, I hope it never does. And I hope it doesn't happen to other people after me. That's the only major reason I would ever sue or take them down, is to stop it in its tracks so that this doesn't go forward and that other women aren't victimized or perpetrated on or exploited or used in this way, because that's not fucking okay. And it never was, and it shouldn't be, and it isn't. Peace, motherfuckers.